Rarely does a single season of television land with the cultural and critical force of True Detective's first outing. Widely hailed as one of the greatest seasons in television history, it was less a simple crime drama and more a dense literary Southern Gothic novel brought to haunting life. It was a revelation, a work that achieved a mood of pervasive danger and existential dread so potent it felt comparable to classic films like Seven and Zodiac. The series did not just tell a story, it explored the very act of storytelling, using the unreliable memories of its two broken protagonists to examine how we construct narratives to make sense of an obscene world. At its core, it is a simple tale, the oldest, as Rustin Cole says.
Light versus dark.
But it is the philosophical depth, the oppressive atmosphere, and the profound character arcs through which this ancient battle is waged that elevate the season to a singular masterpiece of television drama. The philosophical heart of True Detective beats with a dark and articulate pessimism, channeled through Detective Rustin Cole. He is a nihilistic prophet, a man whose past trauma, specifically the death of his daughter, has stripped him of all illusion and left him terrifyingly sober about the human condition. His worldview is a tapestry of hard materialism, antinatalism, and a biting critique of organized religion, which he sees as a comforting lie, a preacher's sales pitch for a light at the end of a tunnel that doesn't exist. This is not sophomoric pessimism, but a rigorously constructed philosophy, with dialogue that echoes the work of bleak literary figures like Thomas Ligotti, whose nonfiction treatise, The Conspiracy Against the Human Race, serves as an unofficial sourcebook for Cole's monologues. When Rust declares,
If the only thing keeping a person decent is the expectation of divine reward, then brother, that person is a piece of shit.
he is not merely being cynical, he is challenging the very foundation of societal morality. For Cole, human consciousness
It was a tragic misstep in evolution. We became too self-aware. Nature created an aspect of nature separate from itself. We are creatures that should not exist by natural law.
That sounds god-fucking awful, Rush.
This philosophy permeates the entire show, creating an atmosphere of pessimism that goes beyond mere dialogue and infects the very fabric of its world. If Rust Cole is the philosophical darkness, his partner Martin Hart is the embodiment of a fragile, compromised normality. On the surface, Marty is the everyman, the relatable family man who grounds Rust's abstract and often alienating intellect. He is the practical counterweight, a detective who relies on conventional police work and human intuition to Cole's metaphysical leaps. Yet, this veneer of normalcy hides a man just as lost as his partner, albeit in a far more common and recognizable way. Marty is a walking contradiction, a self-proclaimed family man who is a serial adulterer, a man who projects an image of moral authority but constantly commits immoral acts, a man who is confident yet deeply insecure. Where Rust has rejected society's programming, Marty has embraced it, seeking meaning in the institutions of work, church, and the traditional family structure. His tragedy is that he fails to live up to the demands of his own chosen philosophy, treating the people in his life as means to his own happiness, rather than as ends in themselves. It is this deep-seated hypocrisy that fuels his frustration with Rust. Cole's unwavering certainty and brutal honesty are a constant, unwelcome mirror to Marty's own self-deception. Rust's nihilism is not just an annoyance to Marty, it is an existential threat to the carefully constructed, yet hollow, reality he has built for himself. The genius of their partnership lies in this clash of worldviews, the man who believes in nothing but acts with a strange integrity, and the man who professes to believe in everything but consistently betrays his own values. While Rust Cole provides the philosophical dread, the procedural plot provides the cosmic horror. The investigation into a series of ritualistic murders is steeped in an iconography of the occult that is both specific and terrifyingly vague. The recurring spiral symbol, the twig lattices, the tales of a yellow king, and the dreaded name Carcosa are not just clues in a murder mystery. They are signifiers of a deeper, more ancient evil. The show masterfully walks a tightrope, never fully committing to a supernatural explanation, but always allowing for the possibility. The horror is psychological, rooted in the actions of a depraved, multi-generational cult, yet it feels cosmic in scale. These bullies, the series taps into a Lovecraftian fear of the unknown, the sense that behind the veil of our perceived reality lies something monstrous. The final confrontation in the labyrinthine ruins of Carcosa, filmed at the real-life Fort Macomb, is a descent into a literal and metaphorical heart of darkness, a place littered with the haunting ephemera of the cult's victims. The true horror lies not in the supernatural, but in the chillingly real capacity for human evil and the powerful, secretive networks that allow it to flourish for decades.
Terrible. That's terrible.
The oppressive, haunting mood of True Detective is inseparable from its setting. The lush, overgrown, and surreal landscape of Louisiana is not a mere backdrop, but an active participant in the story, a physical manifestation of the moral and spiritual decay at the narrative's core. The cinematography captures a world of humidity and rot, a place that feels forgotten by time and progress. The production design team went to great lengths to achieve this authenticity, sourcing objects weathered by real Louisiana humidity, and building sets like the burnt-out church from scratch to create a subconscious storytelling of decay. The entire series can be imagined as Louisiana's dream, a vision emerging from the swamps, the soil, and the dead. It is a place of nightmarish ghettos, isolated rural communities, and overgrown bayous where evil can fester unseen. The landscape itself feels complicit in the crimes, its tangled vines and murky waters hiding terrible secrets. This palpable sense of place grounds the high-minded philosophical discussions and the hints of cosmic horror in a gritty, tangible reality, making the story's darkness all the more believable and suffocating. For a character so thoroughly defined by his unyielding pessimism, Rust Cohle's final scene presents a profound and ambiguous shift in perspective. After a near-death experience in the depths of Carcosa, the arch-nihilist confesses to his partner, Marty, that in the darkness he felt the presence and love of his deceased daughter and father. For a man who has spent years arguing for the cold, mechanical meaninglessness of the universe, this experience is a seismic event. It is not a religious conversion, but an emotional atonement, a moment of transcendence that his own philosophy cannot account for. Lying wounded outside the hospital, looking up at the vast, star-filled sky, he breaks. His despair gives way to a raw, human vulnerability. When Marty observes the darkness of the night sky, Rust, the man who once saw only the void, offers a correction. He tells the story of his own existence. Then, in a line that redefines his entire journey, he concludes,
Once there is only dark. Yes, we need lights when it.